Atlanta police have made an arrest less than 24 hours after a deadly shooting at an apartment complex near Mercedes-Benz Stadium. You'll remember we brought this to you as breaking news. The man who died, a former Georgia State University football player. 19-year-old Naeem Smith is in custody, facing charges including murder and armed robbery. That shooting happened at the Flats on Maple Street complex in the Vine City neighborhood. 35-year-old Demazio Skelton Jr. was killed. He played football at GSU in the early 2010s. 3 other people were hurt. According to Smith's arrest warrants, he and 3 other men who have not yet been identified kicked in the door of an apartment and tried to rob the people inside, leading to shots being fired. Officers say they also found several packages of marijuana and mushrooms packaged for sale inside the apartment.